Good morning, everyone. Hopping in a little early today. Get everyone ready for Leisha to be here in a few minutes. The chat is going to be right over here. Please say hello. Love to see some faces I already know in here today and maybe some new ones. I see some new usernames. Mark9094, don't think I know you. Flow Money, welcome. I'm very excited for what Leisha and I have to show you guys this morning. There is a technical tool. I bet some of you can guess it. If you know Leisha, there's a technical tool we're going to walk through that helps you predict exactly, a lot of times down to the cent, the price that a stock is most likely to move to. We're going to show you how you can use that. And we're going to show you some proof on Leisha using that to make some well-timed option trades. And then we're also going to give you, for free, some price targets on some top stocks in the market right now. So Leisha will be here in just a few minutes, but I wanted to hop in a minute early, TGIF, and say hello to everyone. Anybody have any plans for the weekend? Anything fun? It is the gloomiest day I've ever seen here in Denver, Colorado, which is where I am based out of. If you don't know me, my name's Hannah Sellner. I'm the Director of Product Development here at Option Pit, which means I work with Andrew, Mark, Leisha every single day to make sure that the trading strategies we bring you guys pass a certification that we call CRT, which is to make sure that they are consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. Every trading strategy we see that gets released here has to pass that test. So it should give you some confidence on the other side that the trading strategies that arrive at your doorstep and that we talk about on these live free events with you have been through a vetting process. Not all of them make it through that. Susie, why'd you leave Denver? You're one of the few that left here. It feels like everyone has moved here. I feel like maybe I'm aging because I'm like, things are so busy. I have to have a dinner reservation now. What's happening in the market this morning? How do we feel? Google earnings were yesterday. It's up a little bit this morning. Mark is planning to trade the aftermath of some of these earnings announcements next week, which will also have Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft. Next week is a big earnings week for us. As you probably know, here at Option Pit, we do not normally trade through earnings. We'll trade up to it or after it. So if you're curious and you want to trade earnings announcements around them with Mark, he normally does that with Big Money Flow and Delta Strike. You can give us a call. I'll put the number in the chat here, 888-872-3301. Give us a phone call if you'd like more information on trading that with us. Jerry, I agree that Mark needs a nickname for me, but sometimes I don't, it's like you don't want to give a kid too much candy, I try to keep him in his lane. It would be best if we could just come up with a nickname and then we'll just tell him what it is. That might be easier. So if you have suggestions for a nickname for me, put them in the chat. Let's see what we can cook up. Welcome, everyone. Leisha will be here in probably 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll get started. We have something very exciting prepared for you this morning. We're going to actually show you how you can predict on any stock in the entire market the price that it is most likely to move to, either to the upside or the downside. We can do both. So that's what we'll be walking you through today. We're going to show you some proof of Leisha already doing that, some results from some trades she made through using that. And then we're also going to give you some price targets on some top stocks in the market right now. Think the Qs, SPY. We might even take some suggestions from you guys. So get excited. High energy Hannah is right, Vicki. And this is only my first cup of coffee. So just imagine after a few. Welcome, everyone. There's almost 200 people here. Leisha will be here in 1 minute. But before she is, I want to ask you guys something. And if your fingers work and you're signed into the chat, I want you to answer. It's a simple yes, no question. It'll be easy. Cousin Eddie's already fishing for my attention with the Go Avalanche. It's hard to talk about right now, Eddie. I'm hoping we turn it around tomorrow night. Here's the simple question. Do you know what a pitchfork is? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat. Yes or no? Simple question. It's a technical analysis tool. It is the number one technical analysis tool Leisha uses. I know a lot of people, though, including a pro trader I talked with yesterday, who did not know what they are. So don't be embarrassed if you don't know it. A lot of people don't know. All right, we got some yeses. We got some nos. It sort of looks like a 50-50. We got a sort of. If you don't know, you're in the right place because we're going to talk about it today. And this is a free tool. You guys can actually use it on tradingview.com. We'll talk about that a little bit today. So it's a free tool. You can learn how to use this tool. And every time we go through this and we walk through pitchforks, I get giddy because they're an amazing tool. Leisha, if you are here, you can pop on in and we'll get started. We have a great crowd here this morning.
Good morning, TGIF.
TGIF, welcome. I just did a quick survey for the room and I asked, do you know what a pitchfork is? We got maybe 60% yeses, 40% nos. So we'll have a nice mixed group this morning. I said if the answer was no, lucky for you, you're in the right place.
So I love that. I love
what they are.
They'll see something new and amazing.
Absolutely. And this is a tool, like I said earlier, you can use on every stock in the market. You can draw a pitchfork and use those price targets on any stock. There's not conditions. Like sometimes this doesn't work or sometimes it doesn't work on these. Every single stock you can do this on. Let me pull up my screen really quick and get this shared and we will get started.
Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yes, what a great crowd. TGIF. Let's learn something and make some money today.
Yes.
And then we can all enjoy our weekends. Justin, can you share my screen really quick? It says pitchforks predict price perfect. All right. If you have a piece of paper, get it out. I always have a blank piece of paper right here. Take some notes. Get your pen. What we're going to go over today will be very valuable. But it's only as valuable as you make it. So pay attention, take some notes, and let's get ready to use this to make some money. So Leisha, 40% of people don't even know what a pitchfork is. Let's walk through it. There's 3 key pieces to every pitchfork. If you don't remember this all on the first slide, do not sweat it. We're going to go over several examples. You know us, we like to drill it in. So you'll have time to make sure you understand this. 3 pieces to every pitchfork. Let's go over each piece.
That's correct. We have the very bottom of the pitchfork is the support. We have the very top of the pitchfork is resistance. And we have the red median line in the center, which can be both support and resistance, depending on where the stock is trading.
And each of these different blue, green, blue, Leisha's going to refer to those today as channels. So when you hear her talk about a channel or the stock price crossing into a new channel, that's what she's referencing. There's really 4 channels on every pitchfork, 2 above the median line and 2 below the median line. So you'll see those different colors there. The channels are important because when a stock price crosses them, a lot of times it can be a trigger for a trade. Leisha's going to talk about this a little bit more, but there's actually a mathematical equation. There's a mathematical certainty that when stock price crosses one of those channels and closes in a new channel, there's an 80% likelihood it will move to the next channel level. 80%, that's very high. Any of you who have been trading for a long time can back me up on that. That's not a number you see a lot in trading. It's a big reason why we love using pitchforks. All right, so we got resistance at the top, median in the middle, support on the bottom. There's 4 channels in every pitchfork. This is just an example. We'll show you several today. And Sheena asking if the recording will be available. Yes, it will be in this channel after this. So you'll be able to review this as much as you'd like. So, Leisha, let's look at a naked stock chart for a second.
Oh my goodness. It's so naked.
So naked.
Where do you even begin? Where's the stock going?
This is PLTR, Palantir. And when you look at this chart, I'm sure a lot of people in this room have the same reaction. Okay. I notice a couple things off the bat. Okay. Look at that amazing gap up. I see that E below. That must have been an earnings day. Okay. Looks like we have another earnings coming up. This stock seems like it's moving to the upside, but I don't really know. It's had some great action the last few days. When you look at this stock chart and you try to formulate a trade, there's a lot of questions. Okay, I think it's probably going to go up, but when? How far will it go?
Yes.
I don't know the answers to things like that. And the answers to those questions are what you need to actually make a trade. Let's look at some indicators that most people use. And you guys are not most people. We are not most people. You may use these, but here's some indicators that people normally use. These are some simple moving averages. And crossing these, a lot of people use as triggers to enter a trade or exit a trade. On your screen right now, you'll see the 9 SMA, which is in black. You'll see the 20 SMA, which is in green. And then the 50 SMA is in purple. People use these, Leisha, but one of the things I want to point out and that you're going to show us today is these very popular moving averages don't catch some of the entries that a pitchfork can catch, and they also don't give you a price target, which is what we're here to talk about today. So we're going to show you the difference between traditional technical analysis that you may have seen or may have heard people using, and then how a pitchfork is better, basically. So let's look at, you guys can see on your screen today, here's the SMAs. Now let's look at what a pitchfork looked like. Leisha teaches you how to draw these, and she uses 3 main pivot points. The first you can see is like the anchor of that red median line. See it all the way back? And then the bottom and the top, and that helps kind of build your channel. What do you want people to notice here, Leisha, with PLTR, price, and the pitchfork? The first thing I see is, holy cow, it's really living right inside of exactly where that pitchfork was drawn.
Exactly. That's the cool part. So I just get too excited. I love it when it happens. It's just, it's like, I don't know, maybe like you're proud of a kid or something. It's just like, you're working. It's awesome. You have your 3 pivot points, and the third one is where it begins. And you can see this as a really good pitchfork, and I'm trusting it because it stopped in the bottom of that first channel.
Right.
Gap down, held the median line for 2 days, kind of wallowed around the next level. But look along the bottom, for roughly 2 weeks, it held that support. Bounced and traded to the top of the channel, which was the resistance, and it honored it and came back down. Now, it definitely traded outside the pitchfork, but we have ways of measuring that. Still looking for targets. You'll learn how to deal with it when it moves away from the pitchfork. But as you can see, it came back to honoring that pitchfork again. First channel. Now it has closed yesterday above that resistance of the top of the first channel and is trading into the second channel. That is opportunity. And I don't know if we want to talk about it now or later.
We'll show it in just a minute because you actually made a trade on PLTR that we're going to talk about. But I want to do a little quiz for everyone looking at this. It's Friday. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
You might be brand new to pitchforks. You're looking at this price action. With what we've taught you so far, where do you guess the next price target is for PLTR? Let's see if we have some budding pitchfork experts in the room. When you look at this chart and you see that PLTR was just bouncing around in that lowest blue channel, it crossed into another channel. Where do you think, and you can be wrong, just guess, Where do you think the next price target is? Okay, we've got midline, 125, 120, median. Like, I love using the correct vocab, Jose. Way to go. Median line, 118, 121. Okay, we got some guesses. We're going to show you guys what the next target is because Leisha is actually, I think, very excited to maybe soon trade PLTR. Leisha, what is the next target for PLTR here?
The next target in PLTR is the median line. Jose is an option shopper. He knows. He's already set up for it because he put his trade
Jose,
on
you got to keep
yesterday.
your hand down. That's cheating. The
Yes.
median line would be the next target. And that 80% conviction, let's talk about that for a second. You would have, because of the way PLTR closed above that one channel, you have 80% conviction that it is going to move to the median line. Is that correct?
That is correct. It has closed above the resistance of the top of that bottom channel. Closed above there. Remember, the close is always more important than intraday. We're looking at dailies. Now, PLTR is an 80% chance to statistically with the pitchfork to trade to the median line.
Before you guys all run and buy PLTR calls, stick with us for 20 more minutes here today, and then you can go place that order. On this chart, you can see a layover of the technical tools we've used so far. So you can see the moving averages, and then you can see also the pitchfork. I want you to notice something. The moving averages do not give you that 120, that median line price target on PLTR. They just don't. You wouldn't know that information from using the moving averages. So the pitchfork has a big advantage. Leisha, you actually traded this. So you used the very bottom, the support of the pitchfork as an entry because we were bouncing around off of that price. And then it actually traded all the way up to the top of that channel. This was a trade just from a couple of weeks ago. Can you walk us through the results on this? Nice 50% gain here on PLTR.
Yes, we did. We bought PLTR was holding that support, cleared its most recent highs, and then we knew that it was going to the top of the channel. So let's hop into the calls. I sent out the April 491 calls, pay a quarter or 45, up to 45 cents. Stock ticked down a little. I got a better deal. I paid $4.15 and sold them at $6.20 for a nice 40% gain.
All because you were able to know what the next level would be, what the price target of PLTR is. I can't tell you how many times, Leisha, that I've looked at a stock and liked it, but not known what to do about it. And I bet a lot of people here can relate to that. Or even you see a stock in the news or a lot of people are talking about it and you kind of want to either buy the stock or trade an option, but you don't know what to do because you don't know where it might go. Pitchforks solve that for us.
That's exactly what I tell my members. You need a trading plan. Before you even enter that order, you need to know where's your stock going. What do you do if it goes wrong? Not everything's 100%. We all know that. And you need to know these things. Where are you going to sell your option where's your target?
If we have some option shoppers here in the chat, or if you're in Leisha's small account challenge, hop in, tell us what you think of pitchforks, how you use them in your own trading, how they have improved what your ability to make better option trades, to find better entries, to understand different price targets. Give us some feedback in the chat while we look at another one here. This is ARM. Now, the stock chart you're looking at right now is on a super, super long basis. This is going back almost to 2024. So there's a lot of ticks in here. So we'll shorten it up for you a little bit. Here's those moving averages again. And when I look at this, you could maybe say that the 50 SMA, because it's above, you're like, maybe it's going to 120. I don't know. I don't have that 80% conviction that you might have when you look at a pitchfork. So maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. Let's look at what the pitchfork looks like. Now, Leisha talked about this a little bit. Sometimes with pitchforks, a tool is only as good as we make it. So there are a couple add-ons to just a baseline pitchfork that you can use to help you predict price. One of them is to add a channel. So as you can see here, you have the main pitchfork and then the price kind of dips under there. That doesn't always mean we draw a brand new pitchfork. Sometimes it means we add a channel. So you can see here, a channel is basically a mirror of the channels above. It just kind of extends the pitchfork a little bit lower. These are things that Leisha teaches in Option Shopper, teaches in Small Account Challenge. There are best practices for pitchforks. There's a best way to draw it. There's a way to test the pitchfork. There's a way to know if you want to draw a second pitchfork or if you want to draw a pitchfork channel extension. These are all things Leisha teaches, and at the end of today, we're going to show you guys how you can learn how to do that also. But let's walk through this one, Leisha. You drew this additional channel on ARM, and look at that. I mean, the median line of the additional channel, you can see the price bounce right off it. It crosses through it, and it kind of goes right to the bottom of that channel.
Exactly. That's what our key was there. The stock failed that support. It closed below that support.
Mm-hmm.
And there are three things the stock does when it hits those support resistant median line levels. You'll learn those three things. That's where you find your opportunity. What am I buying? Calls or puts? Which way is the stock going?
Right.
Failed the support, it's going lower.
Right.
Close below that, it's going lower. We hopped into the puts.
Right. So you guys see the super tiny little red candle that the first green arrow is pointing at right on the dotted line? That's what Leisha's talking about. It's kind of trying to test that support. Okay, are we going to go lower or will we bounce up? That next candle, see, it's right below the dotted line. She gets the confirmation. Okay, we're actually going lower. She knows that the next price target is going to be the bottom of that channel where your second green arrow is pointing. So you can make a very clean, quick trade, 85% gain just using that channel.
That's right. We bought that. Once it closed below that support, and the following day, we always wait for confirmation. It's going in your direction. We hopped in the puts, the April 4, 108 puts. I gave the 375 to 390. I give you a little range. I always have to wait 5 minutes before going in on my order. I ended up paying the 395, but I sold them at 730. I think some of my members even had gotten better fills than I did.
If you traded any of these are real trade alerts that Leisha sent out in Option Shopper. She actually traded these. These are real money trades. If any of you made these and you'd like to chime in the chat, please do. Nina T says, Leisha, pitchforks are awesome once you get used to them. Agreed. Let's look at another example here, and we can even do another guess on a price target. This one is going to be gold, which is the most popular kit at school right now, making a new all-time high. Everybody's talking about it. Leisha actually traded GLD on this trade, which we'll show you in just a second. But she did the pitchfork on gold. So that's what we're going to walk through here. Obviously, trending higher. But now after we kind of hit that all-time high, it pops around a little bit. We're not sure where it will go. And the SMA lines here don't really help us because especially when a stock like this, Leisha, can jump up a lot. You guys know, if you ever use these moving averages, it takes them some time to catch up. So a lot of times you'll be like, I think there's an opportunity here, but you won't know what to do because you have to wait with a tool that's not able to tell you what you need to know, which a pitchfork can't. And this is actually doubly great because gold here, you use two pitchforks, Leisha. Can you talk about this a little bit and why you decided to do a second pitchfork instead of just drawing that additional channel for this one?
Yes. In fact, you learn how to play with it. You will try a channel at first, but then you realize it's going to move even further. You add a new pitchfork, and certainly the pitchfork proved itself pretty quickly, and then really proved itself when it literally called the very high, the top of gold. That pitchfork was in place before gold traded there.
It's crazy. Look at that, you guys. Look at that. Look at that red pin line. Do you see that? That runs all the way to the tippy top, the resistance of the pitchfork.
Shooting star.
And like Leisha said, oh yeah, sorry, let me use my technical term, shooting star. Like Leisha said also, that pitchfork, the one that literally picked the top there, she drew 7, 8 days earlier. So you already had that as an established possible price target of gold, and you could have made a trade there. Look, you got that closing candle above
Yeah.
right before. You could have hopped in on that just by having the pitchfork drawn. Beautiful, beautiful one here on gold. Let's
I
look
know.
at,
I love
okay,
that.
here's, the ugly one. We don't like these with the moving averages. We'll skip right through it. You actually traded this, Leisha, here when it crossed over. Walk us through kind of your entry on this. And it, like we said, it ran perfectly all the way to the top.
Yes, gold had entered my second pitchfork, cleared that first channel, took a little breather there. That first green arrows pointing to that little bull flag, a little breather at the support level. That's where we hopped in. You know it's bullish. It's going to go higher. We bought some calls and rode them higher.
Here's the actual trade on this one. Paid $3.90, sold at $8, 104% gain because the pitchfork was able to show us the price.
Yes.
I see a question in the chat. Sheena's asking, might have missed it, but how are the pitchforks drawn? Sheena, I'm so glad that you asked. We didn't go over how to draw pitchforks today, but you can learn how to draw them with Leisha in her pitchfork masterclass. We're going to post a link for you guys. Leisha put together a masterclass. It's 4 hours, 4 sessions. You can get immediate access to all of this, and it will show you how to actually draw those pitchforks. We talked about this a little bit just a few minutes ago, but every pitchfork has 3 pivot points. In the masterclass, Leisha teaches you what those are, how to pick them on a stock chart. So she'll kind of show you how to draw the pitchfork. There's also a great way to test your pitchforks. So Leisha was talking about this with me earlier. Not every pitchfork you draw is the right one. There's a way to find the right one that's actually going to give you the best price targets. And she has a way to check that. You can do that. You can learn how to check that by joining this masterclass. Now, when you join this masterclass, and we'll talk a little bit more about exactly what's included in it, Leisha's also going to do a live training session with you guys next Tuesday. So you can get access to all of these sessions. These are pre-recorded sessions of Leisha teaching how to draw pitchforks, how to use the pivot points, how to determine if it's valid. She'll walk through what you do when a stock's price hits each piece of the pitchfork. So what happens when we hit the median line? What do I do as a trader? What happens when we hit the support line? What do I do as a trader? Or the resistance line? She'll tell you what you should be thinking and what the next trade you should be looking for to make. She's also going to, on next Tuesday, she's going to do that live class, like I said. And you can actually use pitchforks on a longer runway. So a lot of times, Leisha, you'll do it with a trade 1 week out, 2 weeks out. But depending on how a stock is setting up, you can actually develop some pitchforks that will go 4 months out, 6 months out. So you could either make a longer term option trade, or you could even use it just as a signal to buy stock potentially. Leisha, you want to highlight anything inside of the masterclass that people will be able to learn?
Oh, well, they'll learn how to draw their own. And it's actually very fun, especially when they're working. You draw a pitchfork and it goes right to your price target. That's the most amazing thing. But I also want to point out on Tuesday, as we all know, the market's come down. We're recovering. We're beginning to recover. There's some key points and levels we're at right now. A lot of stocks are at the bottom of the pitchfork. Those long-term plays, you can, ride those stocks back up to the top of the pitchfork if this rally's real, and we can talk about them. I'll show you. There's some good opportunities out there, and you don't have to hold on to it. You can buy, roll, and close, right? Close and roll, close and roll.
Absolutely. That is a huge perk of pitchforks that I forgot to highlight. But because you have these different channels, you'll have multiple potential targets on a trade. So a lot of practical questions you have when you're in a trade. Okay, it's up, but when should I exit? Should I sell all of it here? Should I sell half of it here? These are all, if you're an active trader, these are questions that should go through your mind every day, maybe multiple times a day on a certain trade. Pitchforks take all the guesswork out of that. Sorry, my nose is runny. It's allergy season. Wiping my nose. Pitchforks take all the guesswork out of that. So you don't have to wonder, okay, should I sell or should I keep it? The pitchfork literally shows you the levels of support and resistance. So you'll know, okay, once I hit this, I want to sell a piece. And then if we go through there, I may have a new target, depending on where the stock closes. I see some people, if you have questions about pitchforks, please put them in the chat. I want to I'll pass these over to Leisha so she can answer them. The first one I want to go through, Leisha, Bob G asked, in a volatile market, is it harder to use pitchforks?
No, we need them. We need them all the time. No.
I'd say in a volatile market, you probably need them the most, to be honest.
Yes. Because you have an idea of where the stock is going to go, where it may stop, where it may pause, where it may end up in the longer term.
Right.
It's a guideline. It's a great guideline. It helps you trade your options because you can attach a stock price target, which leads you to attach your option price target.
And even looking at that gold chart, which is a good example, I mean, that's a super volatile chart, but still the pitchfork was able to pick the top there. I mean, that's a name that made a significant move in the last few weeks, but the pitchfork caught it. And we were able to kind of draw a second one there. And you had a 7 or 8 day heads up of exactly where gold's price could go. So I would argue in volatile markets, having pitchforks is even more valuable. Yes. The other beautiful thing about joining this masterclass, and Leisha's going to show you current pitchforks, and she'll walk through her layout of the pitchforks on a lot of top stocks. And we'll show you a couple here today. But when you first establish a pitchfork, that's something that you might have for months. So you could use that those price targets again and again.
Years. I have pitchforks that go back to 2018, and they're still valid.
Yeah. Talk about battle tested. Years worth of data proving that these pitchforks are what the price respects, and you can use that as a tool. Okay, we're going to, in just 2 minutes, we're going to show you some pitchforks that Leisha is using right now, and we're going to give you a couple of price targets. So for some top stocks in the market, maybe even, Leisha, we could look at a couple that have earnings next week and see if we have some interesting price targets. That would be cool. Yeah. But before we do that, you guys, right above my head, there's a button. It's wiggling. It says click here to join. Click on that. You can at least see what all is included in the masterclass. The price of this masterclass is cheap, guys. It's $199. Okay. That's for 4 hours, 4 sessions. That doesn't even include the live session that Leisha's doing next Tuesday, which will also be an hour. You'll be able to ask her questions. If I were you, here's what I'm doing. I'm joining the masterclass right now. Then this weekend, I'm watching the masterclass. Find some time, get your coffee in the morning before your kids wake up, whatever. After you read the newspaper, watch the masterclass, take some notes, learn. You'll have some time. You'll have 3 days here to go through the masterclass. I'd get a list for Leisha. All right, here's my questions. Here's some of the stocks I want to see a pitchfork on. Here's some of my favorites. I'd love to have a pitchfork on these. I would bring that list with you on Tuesday. And I'd show up. Leisha's going to thank me for this later because she's going to have a bunch of people show up with lists of questions for Tuesday. But I'd show up on Tuesday afternoon. Christian, if we have the time, put it in the chat. But I'd show up on Tuesday afternoon. I'd bring that list to Leisha, and you can actually ask her some of your questions. You can give her some names that you want to establish pitchforks on together. And by the time you go through the masterclass, you'll understand, here's how you draw them. She walks you through setting up your own tools. So you can use TradingView. You can do these for free. And in the masterclass, she's going to walk you through all of that. So when you show up on Tuesday to do this, you'll already know what you're doing. You should. The masterclass is very thorough. Like I said, 4 hours, 4 sessions. She walks through everything. And then you can actually see her live and ask some follow-up questions.
All right.
Just me. That's what I would be doing. Let's go through a few current pitchforks, Leisha. You want to share your screen? Justin, sure. We can pop over to Leisha's screen. I'm not going to take requests yet. We have a couple we want to show you, and then we can take some requests. Let's start with PLTR. Look
This
at
is
that
the
chart.
one I'm most excited about. PLTR has followed our pitchfork, and we talked about that. Held support again, traded through the resistance at the top of that channel.
Mm-hmm.
It has an 80% chance now to trade to the median line next. That's the next price target.
When
120,
you
119 to 120. My plan is to have it trade close to that by earnings.
One of the other beautiful things about these two is like, say that PLTR hits that median. Let's say it hits it before earnings. Amazing. Maybe we had a trade there. Love it. Now, if it doesn't cross that median line and it turns around, we have another target for it.
Exactly.
Bottom of that channel. And after that, if it goes above or below, we have another target, the bottom of that channel.
Exactly.
You can make, when you have a really solid pitchfork, these pitchforks can be good for 5, 6, 7 trades in a few month period once you understand how the pitchfork is signaling you where the price is most likely to go. So these aren't just one and done, good for one trade and it's over. These can be used multiple times, which is awesome.
Yes, that's correct. And as I said, I have pitchforks going back to 2018. I think IBM was an interesting one. How IBM. Okay, I have a newer one in IBM. Sorry, I have some that are very old, but earnings right to the median line.
Look at that. I mean, it was right at the top of that channel and it jumped perfectly right to the median line.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Have you guys ever seen a technical indicator that does that? Like, if you have another one, tell me. But I've never seen another technical indicator that is able to do what that just did.
Yes, Google just came out.
Yeah, let's look at Google.
Google popped up. Now look at Google opened up here, traded a little higher. Now it's going to test the bottom of the top channel. So now we know that there's support at 161.94 in Google. You watch that. See if it stops there.
Mm-hmm.
And with the gap, there are rules. You wait a couple days, yada, yada. But watch that level. You have a place to see where, now that it's gapped open after earnings, where's it going? And look at the other gaps. Stopped at the median line. Once it cleared here, 80% chance traded to the median line. Sure enough, it did. 80% chance closed above it, 80% chance to this other end of the channel. Now,
every time we walk through this, Leisha, I just think, why doesn't everyone do this? It looks so obvious.
Yes, it's amazing.
I feel like I could. Leisha and I did a practice run through of this before we presented it to you live. And after we did the practice run through, I felt like I could run through a brick wall. These are so, it's amazing, the power of the tool. And Leisha, like the best proof, honestly, the best proof that you can get and the best backing for technical analysis and a strategy is that Leisha's a pro trader. She's seen basically every indicator there is out there to use. And this is her favorite one.
Yes.
And hopefully by looking at this, you can very clearly see why it's her favorite one.
This is definitely my favorite. It's pretty cool. With the masterclass, you'll learn the history behind it, which to me is even an incredible story also.
Did you know that people used to actually hand draw pitchforks? That's true, right, Leisha? They would take the chart, and I just picture them with like a big ruler.
Yes.
Trying to draw the pitchfork.
Hannah, they did. That's what they did.
It's crazy.
Imagine connecting the dots.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't have to waste our time doing that anymore, and we can focus more on the trades themselves. But that should show you, I mean, this technical indicator has really stood the test of time. This has been a long-term indicator, and I feel like the only reason people don't use it, it's kind of just forgotten, or people don't know how to use it or what to do. But it doesn't mean it's not valuable. It can be even more valuable because I feel like less people use it than they should.
Yeah, well, it's definitely seems. I think that could be the reason why, or they're just not aware of it. It's just not a common one. But
Let's look at another one. Leisha, if you have one you want to pull up, and then we'll take some feedback really quick. When you guys go to the order form for the masterclass, you're going to see two options. If you want to get trade alerts based off of pitchforks, in addition to just having the pitchforks in the class themselves, you can do that. You'll see an option on the order form that includes option shopper. Leisha uses pitchforks actively, basically on every trade in option shopper. And if you want trade alerts, so like if you're looking at PLTR and you understand that's an opportunity, but you want the trade to go with it, make sure that on the order form you pick the option that includes option shopper. That way you'll get the trade alerts that go along with each piece of this. Any questions on that? If you guys have any questions on the order form, drop them in the chat. I want to make sure I answer these for you. We'll only have a couple days here where we're selling this masterclass. We discounted it because we wanted you guys to get this ahead of some of the earnings next week. So speaking of earnings, perfect timing. Let's look at the Apple pitchfork. This says earnings next week. What do you think here, Leisha?
Look at how well Apple has
I know. Wow.
honored this.
Look at that median bounce.
There, bounce, kind of little. This is called consolidation. It does one of three things. That's one of them. Here, it held the median line, held support down here twice, and then came back, held here again with a nice little dragonfly doji. Now, Apple has to decide, is it going to close? Remember, it's the close that you're looking for.
Right.
Above or below the median line there. So, folks, if you're trading Apple, you want to watch a close above or below 210. Which way is Apple going?
These are all daily candles for you guys. These are all daily candles. That's what Leisha uses to draw her pitchforks. And what she's showing you this on right now is tradingview.com. This is a free site. You can draw pitchforks on here for free. It's one of the settings. When you join the masterclass, Leisha will show you exactly how to do it. It's not hard at all. See, it's right here over in the different technical analysis tools. She walks you through all of that when you guys join the masterclass. So you don't have to get anything special to be able to do this. You don't have to pay for something. It's all inside of the masterclass, and you can use these for free. These are free tools. You want to look at, we have some other earnings. You want to look at Amazon? Amazon has earnings next week. We'll take one or two chart requests. If you guys have a stock you want us to draw a pitchfork on, drop it in the chat. We'll take two of those before we close out today.
Well,
Amazon's also around the median line. Look at that.
Yes, coming up to the median line here. So with Amazon, your resistance is 190.11. You would need to watch that support or resistance level. Above there, your next price target will be 209. If it fails, your price target is 171.5. You have an idea of where it's going, all because the median line's going to tell you.
You know what will be fun too, Leisha, since we're doing this and we're setting, the price targets. I'd love to do a follow-up either next week or the next week, and we can see after we set these price targets, we can see exactly where the price went. Because I bet you guys, as we've shown you already today, it will respect the price targets. Look at that. Look at that inside of the channels. Median line. So maybe we can do a follow-up after this and look at it. All right, we got a couple of requests coming in the chat. Don't be quiet. Don't be shy. Drop a request. I'm going to pick them kind of randomly. We have two requests so far for SPY, so let's look at that one first.
Yeah, I told Mindy we would do SPY. Same idea. A lot of stocks have this going on right now.
Right.
We are at a turning point, I think, in the overall market too. With ES and SPY and SPX. Qs, I'm bullish, but and IWM, I'm bullish. But here we need to make a decision. We need to trade over that downtrend line. SPY, we're doing it, and we actually came back and revisited it. But we need to trade over like 548, 550-ish, right? We need a good solid close above there to get this rally going, in my opinion. And then SPY will be back into my pitchfork here.
Right.
And then I know it'll come back to 570.
You guys will see some other lines on here. Alicia's referencing that downtrend line, which is that big blue slanting line she has drawn here. A lot of times, in addition to the pitchfork, you want to use some of these other tools. Those are things she teaches in the master class. She teaches in Option Shopper. The charts are only as good as we make them.
That's
And
right.
you need to be able to have enough information on the chart to make a trade with a trade plan. That's the whole point. Your likelihood of being successful goes way up when you're able to do that, which the pitchfork and some of these additional lines can absolutely show you how to do that. Give me another chart request. Pop them in there. Leisha, what do you do when, so you have a pitchfork on top here and one kind of on the bottom, and your price action right now is almost in the middle. When are you like, oh, I need to draw a new pitchfork versus using the trend lines? Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Sure. It's pretty fascinating because you could add like a little shorter term, smaller pitchfork and it may work. But then see how it worked here?
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
It could work. If you wanted more tighter guidelines or more tighter channels, you could add that as long as you validate it. But for me, this was wide enough. I wasn't necessarily going in to make trades in between here on SPY. So I was okay just sticking with this goes back to
Wow, look at that.
of 23.
Wow.
And then the other one goes back to DEES 21.
Wow. Crazy. For those of you asking, how do I do this? How do I draw a pitchfork? How can I get my charts to look like this? Join the masterclass. Leisha teaches you step by step how to draw a pitchfork, how to save the pitchforks so they're on your chart and you can use them again and again and again. She'll teach you how to draw some of these extra channels, extra trend lines, everything you would need to place a trade. And remember, on the order form, if you want the trade alerts that go along with this, make sure you pick the option that includes Option Shopper. That's Leisha's trade alert service. So when she sees a stock using a pitchfork or testing a level and she sends out an actual trade alert to buy, which has the option chain, the price, the whole shebang, she does that inside of Option Shopper. So if you want those alerts to go with the pitchforks, make sure you choose that option. Okay, I'm going to take B Mindy because we love B Mindy. She's always here. I'm going to take her as the next request. She wants to look at Meta.
Sure.
So we'll do that as our last one. If we didn't do your chart, don't sweat it. We do this a lot. So come back. We talk about pitchforks. We're also great here at Option Pit about being super transparent and like you can talk to us. So I bet if you sent Leisha an email that said, hey, can I see a pitchfork on this? She might help you out. Now, sorry, Leisha, I just got you 50 inboxes asking for pitchforks. But Leisha loves to do this. And I bet on a lot of the stocks you'll ask for, she already has a pitchfork. Let's look at Meta. Meta's doing the same thing as SPY. Look at that. The dance in between.
They're a lot. Almost every stock has the same pattern. I have plenty of people with emails on how's my pitchfork look?
Yeah.
Does this look good? Can you, what do you think about this? So I love it. Yes, definitely. It's fine. As you can see, this has traded back into an older pitchfork, very large one, going back to Oct 2022. Coming back into that, it was very close to the support here. Now we are kind of honored it there and there. Mm-hmm. So your resistance here in Meta up above is going to be 560. You can see this, that looks like it just stopped randomly. It didn't. It was up against that resistance of this pitchfork up here. That worked really well. So resistance is at 560. Support will be back down here. First, it'll be these lows, and then below there will be 471.
Now, you won't always want to kind of force it. So as a trader, you always want to be comfortable with what you think the pitchfork is telling you. And sometimes when a stock isn't, Leisha will say this a lot, it isn't behaving, or it is behaving. A lot of times if it isn't behaving and it's sort of in no man's land, then maybe that's not a trade right now. Or it's
Exactly.
not a trade this week. You keep an eye on it and you see when it starts behaving again, meaning moving inside of those channels, respecting what you've set up, and then you want to make a trade on it. A lot of times I would guess, Leisha, potentially ahead of earnings, the pitchworks can get probably kind of wacky, or there's just a lot of consolidation and it doesn't really pick up move until afterwards. So maybe before earnings, you might not be using this, or you can draw a new pitchwork like she just did right there so that you can try to get a better sense for the price levels. But one of the beautiful things about pitchworks is it makes sure that you don't force it. So
Right.
you want to make sure that when you're drawing a pitchwork or when you're using an established one, make sure it's actually respecting the support and resistance levels.
That's right. And that's what validates it. And you'll learn that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at how that kind of works there.
Yeah, there you go.
Coming up.
Any questions you guys have on pitchworks, please pop them in the chat. We'll take probably one or two more before we go off. Leisha, thanks for coming and doing this with me this morning. This has been really fun.
Thank
I
you,
love
Anna.
anytime we have an excuse to talk about pitchworks, I get super excited. And I hope you guys are excited too. This is an invaluable tool. Honestly, it's invaluable. It's free. They're easy to use once you just learn a few pointers about how to pick your pivot points, how to make sure that you're using areas of support and resistance to trigger your trades.
Mm-hmm.
It's super smart. And it's also, Leisha talked about this a little, but it's also really, really fun.
They're very fun.
When you feel like you know what's going on, it's fun.
Yes.
And it's really fun to watch a stock behave within the lines of a pitchfork. Okay, we're asking if we can look at PLTR one more time. We'll pull it up one more time. We'll show you guys PLTR. I actually saw some people earlier that I think bought some PLTR calls based on what this looks like.
Yes. And the other nice fine thing is you have a wonderful, perfectly great stop loss, right?
Totally.
Nothing's 100%. That doesn't work out. You're that support resistance level. That's your stop loss now. So not only do you have your price target, you have a stop loss.
100%.
Such a great guideline. The rules are very, very simple. So easy to learn. And such a valuable tool.
There's not a lot of technical analysis tools out there that can literally answer every single question you might have for a trade. Where's my price target? Where should my stop loss be?
Right.
Where's my first target to sell? My second target to sell? My third target to sell? Pitchforks answer all of those in one technical tool, which, to be honest, half of the battle a lot of times in trading is just how to make sense of your chart. If you have 47 indicators on it, 63 pieces of technical analysis, it's just hard to follow. But a pitchwork is a lot easier to follow, and it gives you all that information just with one tool. Look at how clean that is. Super clean.
Yes.
And it actually looks like PLTR price is coming down a little bit. It may kind of test that level, but you might also get a better entry because, like Leisha said, once we get that close above, there's an 80% chance we're going to the median line. So if I'm you, I maybe would jump on this.
Yep. I recommend it.
Thank you guys for coming this morning. We have over 200 people here. I hope all of you are going to join the masterclass. You'll be able to go through those 4 classes, like I said, over the weekend, learn everything you need to know about pitchforks, and then you can join Leisha on Tuesday for a live session. She's going to give you a couple long-term pitchforks, maybe for some stock buys or longer-term options. And then she'll also answer some questions. So join the Pitchwork Masterclass. There's a button above me. We'll get it posted in the chat again, and it's pinned at the top. As always, you can give our team a call. That phone number is 888-872-3301. Any questions you have about pitchworks, give us a call. Leisha, thanks so much. I feel like I need to go trade PLTR right now, so I got stuff to do.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, TGIF. Make some good money out there today. Have a wonderful weekend.
Love it. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Leisha. Have a good weekend.